I don't know, like 3 months ago, we had a Marine Raider Foundation event where we're doing a fundraiser up in Mountain View, California. And the family that did it was Pete and Patty Manukian, their son Matt Manukian, dear friend of mine. He was a captain, actually introduced me to my now wife. He was killed while we were over there and was awarded the Navy Cross. And I mean, I think like the foundation pulled in like $50,000 or something from this event in like their backyard. It was just spectacular. And we were kind of talking about like one of my buddies. He's kind of like one of the last guys in from like the Hellman group of guys, and he's getting ready to retire here in the next month or so. And we were like, Patty's like, oh my God, like, we all get up and talk, but she's like, I always had like an active duty guy, and now I don't know. And they're over on the East Coast, and we just kind of started talking about that, and there was a lot of frustration on our side because if you see where First Marine Special Operations Battalion or First Raider Battalion used to be, I think now maybe the MEU where someone took it over, and yeah, and it just kind of, I mean, and there was a lot of money SOCOM put into it. I mean, we had our dog kennels, our training area. I mean, it was one of the best ranges. We had range 130 was our range, so we could go pop out there. You had square bays, you had shoot houses, high angle, all the stuff that you would need. And then you're like, you guys are going to move another special operations battalion all the way over to the East Coast into our smallest base at Camp Lejeune. And you're going to have all the Victor units or the infantry units. You're going to have Force Recon Company, a Recon Battalion, and now three Special Operations Battalion, all fighting for the same range space. I'm like, man, if I had money, I'd go buy a chunk of land out there and open up a range because they're going to need to go off base and stuff like that. And then for us, I always tell the foundation, like, it's like any college program or whatever. You got to keep your alumni happy, right? Then they'll keep donating you money and giving you stuff. Well, where we had at First Raider Battalion, we had our like kind of our hero wall where the guys we lost were up there with their paddles. We had this really nice monument out there that just it was just beautiful when the sun would set and had all the fallen heroes' names on it. And I'll never forget when we did all this in like 2012 when General Lefebvre, an amazing general officer as well, he came and gave a speech and he's like, this place now has a soul, like, pointing to our memorial. And they just ripped up the memorial. They took everything out and just like left. Like it's like the Mayflower van from the Baltimore Colts had just kind of gone, and that was it. And we're like, we don't have a place where we can call home now over here on the West Coast. One thing I recommended was put another memorial up because our legacy, it needs to be remembered. Like that, this was built like really. First Battalion, I'm gonna say, was the one who kind of earned the stripes for MARSOC. I mean, I know people are gonna get pissed off about that, but Hellman was no pretty dance floor, and that's where First was, and there was a lot of guys getting banged up over there. And on that compound at Pendleton, we had like another kind of school building, and that was for the company that was getting ready to deploy. So you kind of went there, not like isolation, but you're just kind of away from everyone, just doing your final thing. And I'm like, how hard would it have been for the Marine Corps to say, we're going to call this the Marine Raider building or something, and then put a memorial there and you put our pictures up from those deployments just so we had something to remember by, and we can come on base and maybe do like a yearly reunion up there. And, we could do a Marine Raider Foundation event, and you'll draw in a ton of money. But, it just kind of felt like we got the middle finger and off they went. And, guys, I'm annoyed. I'm not going to speak for other people. It really bothered me and still bothers me that they did that. That was a lot of blood, sweat, and tears in that building, and no more. What I understood the original plan was, and watch in like 5 years, somehow this will come to fruition, but what they were thinking about doing was adding another battalion and then bringing a regiment out here. So you'd have a regiment and two battalions on the West Coast, a regiment and two battalions on the East Coast, because there's a lot going on in the Pacific, and there's this really evil country called China, like doing some weird things out there. And, it's like they still have to forward deploy people to here and then go off into SOC PAC and all that stuff, Special Operations Command Pacific. But, my big thing too, like they were arguing, we're wasting a lot of money sending, the Raiders from the West Coast over to the East Coast for schooling because we've got the schoolhouse there and all that stuff. Well, take a step back and look at the infantry. You have SOI East, you have SOI West. They're teaching the same period of instruction. You could build another schoolhouse out here if you really felt that bad to have these periods of instructions. They can do a SEER course out here. They could do something else, and you're going to end up saving money in the long run because you're not going to have to forward deploy people here and stuff. And I think they even have like leave behind assets back here on Pendleton that if you're coming through, they'll liaison with you and stuff. It just seemed like an unnecessary move. But then again, the Marine Corps, to the beginning of our conversation, was not happy about us going into special operations. One of the rumors I heard is the first place they pitched to move the MARSOC to was to be down in Tampa Bay near SOCOM, and the Marine Corps was like, no way. So, big Marine Corps wants to kind of wrap their arms around it and kind of have control. And I'm sure there's a lot of people who would like to see MARSOC go away.